All right, everyone, we should be live. Let's make sure that's actually the case over on Rumble, of course. Lots and lots to talk about today. Vin Diesel getting Me Too to the Nirvana baby. You know, we've got a lot of interesting news at the moment. Israel has resorted to using 2,000-pound bombs in Gaza, actually. We've got to talk about a Times of India article. The article itself is fine. I'll get into it, but Jesus Christ, they should have chosen a different tweet to make. The U.S. Air Force is now reclaiming Tiananmen Island, which, of course, is where the atomic bomb was sent off from, which hit Japan. It's a little bit of a dire thing. Vox going crazy. And, of course, Dukes of Hazzard's John Schneider makes death threat against Joe Biden. Ooh, that sounds spooky now, don't it? Let me make sure that I'm actually live over on Rumble. Let me reload the page. Show me, am I live? Yeah, I'm looking at myself. I've got a face for radio, so I'd rather not. The Dashing Rogue, Birdman of Amsterdam, returns. Yes, indeed. I am back stateside. I also found my Roz Williams shirt. I am very, very happy about that. By the way, a couple of my shirts actually were moth-eaten, which makes no sense. There were like holes in them and shit. My Darfur shirt from high school that I still fit in, by the way. I'm very happy about that since I'm approaching 36 now. Unfortunately, is full of holes, and they weren't there before. We'll be talking about all sorts of crazy shit. A Moral Fat 40 ounce. That jacket is badass. I do agree. And by the way, this finally stopped being so lopsided. Also, my hair is straighter now. I think it's because of the climate. Everything is more humid and like salty, like sea air over in the Netherlands. Here, it's very, very dry mountain air. And so it appears that to have changed my appearance slightly. I'm kind of liking it. Doesn't take long to brush my hair in the morning. It's pretty good. Anyway, I do see that people are pouring in on both YouTube and Rumble. By the way, there is a link cross-platform and posted at the top and pinned. If you're watching on YouTube, stocking stuffers from yours truly available. You can always get copies of all of my many hundreds of edited works on the occult, anthropology, history, folklore, folk medicine, and attendant topics. It's a wide plethora, and the library is going to grow considerably, I think, this year, since I've already got almost 10 works done before the next year actually begins. Basically, it's a matter of getting them illustrated and having the stamina to do cover art, because I really fucking hate that part of the process. I am in a highly caffeinated mood. I have 2 fucking energy drinks here. Yeah. That's how I roll. Also, maybe at the end of the stream, maybe I'll use some more of this Firecracker Farm hot salt. It is a sea salt that has been infused with Reaper, Scorpion, and Ghost Pepper. I tried it this morning. You should watch that video. Yes, I do try it on camera. It is very hot. It is an 8 out of 10. Some people were complaining about the price, and I'm like, Jude, for the average person, you're only going to need 2 twists of this at most for even an enormous pot of chili or whatever the hell you want to spice up. I think it's a good investment. I am definitely happy with that. Thank you to Trip Boom, who may actually be in chat over on Rumble. Again, many thanks to you for sending that to me. I gave one of the shakers to my dad. I'm keeping the other for myself. I will be using it sparingly. And also there's extra salt there too. It's going to take a while to go through all of that. I could show off my guns, but it's a live stream. I fucking hate that. Stupid rules. Fuck rules. Strudlin oven. Xmas clankety clank clank clankety clank clank. Exactly. Swamp Donkey. At least 16 states looking to remove Trump from ballot. Texas and Florida looking to remove Biden. You think Beanie Boy Tim is right that 2025 is going to be lit on God? For real, no cap, straight bussin'. Yeah, I ain't sussin'. 2025 will be a weird year. So will 2024. It almost doesn't matter what happens at this point. We've already crossed the Rubicon with civic precedent by having a former president indicted on over 90 felony charges in 4 different fucking courts. Everything's on the table at this point. I have no predictions to give you because I don't know what the fuck is going to go on. It's going to be weird. Racy, Monster Java, Liquid Crack, good stuff. Clank, clank. Yeah, crack, like from Sleazy P. Martini. I got to get him back on the show now that I'm on a U.S. time zone, actually. I've got about half a dozen people that want me on their shows. I'd like to get Sleazy aboard again. We'll shoot the shit and smoke some crack. I promise that that's not crack scented. Oh, it went out. Okay. Just a second here. Yeah. I've decided this room smelled a little bit musty for some time because, there's nobody using it basically. It's just for storage. And so I want some of this Palo Santo, which is one of my favorite scents, by the way. White sage and Palo Santo, very good. Yeah, get it in there. Oh, that one is partially, well, you can be a little bit lopsided. That's perfectly fine. I don't give a shit. I'm taking it a little bit easy over the next couple of days, by the way. I will not be streaming this weekend, and I'm certainly not going to stream on fucking Christmas. I'm going to be pigging out on boiled dinner. It is a family tradition. You put the ham in with turnips, thank God, cabbage, carrots, potatoes, the whole 9 yards, and you just fucking cook it all day, basically. Some good shit. Veteran biker, hello. Kamala going on abortion tour, best thing for pro-life ever. Yeah, if you want to push a social issue, maybe not have Kamala taking the floor for your side. Like she's the border czar and the AI czar. We are in danger. R. Terry, how long you back in the States? I have returned to the United States. I will not elaborate further, my friend. Max Salas, you look like a virgin. Not since I was 15. I'm sure that you think about that constantly. Poor dude. Doc Holliday, please do a vid on the DB Cooper. Thanks, Sticks. I can't remember if I already did one in my occult playlist, because it is kind of a spooky case. I sort of put the unexplained in the occult playlist. If I haven't, I'll look back through. If not, I'll make one. In fact, I might have it in my docket now, actually. Just a second. Let me check that. Yeah, DB Cooper is lined up for the occult video 394. I've got a couple more before that. I should probably get those out before the end of the year. Thank you for reminding me. G-Sticks, ha-ha, hee-hee, ha-ha-ha, hee-hee-hee, lol. Ray C, when are you going to visit the Cast Castle and see the Beanie Guy Timmy Pool? I would love to go on the Timcast, and I've got an open invitation for that, but that requires a little bit of travel, a little bit of, I want to plan ahead. Because if I'm going down there, I'll probably spend a few days because travel takes the shit out of me. So probably travel there like the day before, get a good night's sleep, go on the show, then get another good night's sleep before coming back. I am not a big fan of air travel. In fact, I don't like to travel at all when I can help it. Sebastian Monroe, since you're not streaming on Monday, have a Merry Christmas with your family. Thank you for the wonderful year. I look forward to the next. Clank. Yeah, I'm looking forward to spring. Looking outside, everything is barren and frosted, and it's like 20 fucking degrees, and I'm not used to the cold as much anymore, although I am a Vermonter, so I will still go outside on principle in a t-shirt and barefooted. The Burlap Sack Krampus video when? Clank. Yeah, Krampus is hardcore, Jesus. Yeah, Tim, I know American Nationalist. Tim is on the same time zone, Eastern time, I know. But he likes to have people actually physically there. I would love to see his place. I think that'd be fun. Maybe bring him some biltong. Although I think Anton gave Tim some biltong, actually. And the quartering, if I remember correctly. Maybe I can cook him some food. I'll bring the ingredients. I'll make him that Hungarian peasant stew from the Golden One's wife's cookbook. Fucking delicious, by the way. Anyway, we should probably get to the news before I just rant for 2 or 3 hours. Although at some point I may do rant streams like later on in the day, just spend an hour, 2 hours, what the hell ever, because, I can do whatever I want. Just spend some time ranting. Anyway, we'll go to Vin Diesel first. Good actor. I like him mostly. Vin Diesel, film star accused of sexual battery by ex-assistant. Yes, indeed. Vin Diesel is being Me Too'd. Whenever there's a Me Too'ing, of anyone, other than maybe Schneider, I tend to be skeptical of the claim because I notice that it always comes with basically, give me money. Give me money or give me attention. Hey, I wrote a book about my brief relationship with Vin Diesel. Get me on the news circuit or something like that. A lawyer for the actor, real name Mark Sinclair, Vin Diesel definitely rings a bell more than that, said his client denies this claim in its entirety. Asta Jonasson claims in the lawsuit that the actor pinned her to a wall as he performed a sex act on himself. So He pushed her up against the wall and was beating off, I guess. She is further suing for wrongful termination, claiming his company fired her hours after the alleged attack. Miss Johnson's lawsuit, which was filed in Los Angeles on Thursday, alleges that the sexual battery took place in Atlanta's St. Regis Hotel during the filming of Fast Five. She says in the lawsuit that Mr. Sinclair, 56, physically overpowered her in his hotel suite and ignored Miss Johnson's clear statements of non-consent as he groped her. The lawsuit alleges that after she screamed and ran towards the nearby bathroom, the film star pinned her against the wall with his body and performed a sex act on himself. So basically, he groped her up. She said no. She's like, runs to the bathroom. But then he managed to catch her, pinned her against the wall, and started furiously masturbating. It's possible. Here's the problem. If I don't have any corroborating witness statement, forensic evidence, anything on film, a picture, a video, doesn't matter. I'm not going to believe it because I've seen too many instances of this horse shit levied at people who have money and or power and or influence of some sort. It happens over and over again, and people are dragged. He's going to be dragged too. Vin Diesel is relatively popular. He's seen generally as innocuous, by the way, looking into politics actually, and so he might be able to skate on this. But if you're a weirdo like Marilyn Manson, all of a sudden everyone takes the claim seriously now, don't they? Like if I got Me Too'd, I mean, fucking look at the way I dress, look at the way I look. I guarantee I wouldn't get as much leverage as Vin Diesel does. At the very least, he's massively rich, so he can afford a good attorney, or rather, team of 5 or 6 attorneys. So he's got that as an advantage. I do not hashtag believe all women, nor all men, nor all anyone, especially in relation to Me Too things, because I noticed that a lot of those cases over time end up getting dropped. Look at Johnny Depp and Amber Heard Heard, by the way, got what she fucking deserved. If anything, she deserves total poverty, but unfortunately still has at least somewhat of a career and some money to her name. She shouldn't, though. She should be buried in a pauper's grave when she finally croaks. But unfortunately, that will not happen. It's an old Vermont saying, dimple outside, devil inside. Be very careful with who you fraternize with. Chris Sage, have you or will you do a video on the 12 tribes community of Rutland? I could do that. Actually, I was going to go to the Yellow Deli a few days ago, but they're closed for renovation, unfortunately. It's one of my favorite restaurants. In fact, in the Rutland area, it's probably the best restaurant. They do have excellent food. I do know about the child abuse claims against them. I can do a video on that in the future. I actually went to one of their get-togethers. Their kids are actually very talented, though. God damn, there was one kid, she must have been 7 maybe 8. She could play the bass guitar. She'd be in a fucking rock band if she wanted to. You wouldn't believe it. Racy, you should bring Sleazy P. Martini as a surprise guest to Timmy Pool. Could smoke crack with the Timcast. Clank, clank. That'd be fun. Ramen Jam. I like the desert more than the Northeast during winter. It's not the cold. It's the leafless hardwoods and barren farm fields that I don't like. Cactus are green until they die. I actually kind of like the wintry landscape. It gets me in the mood for, like, you know, listening to Roz Williams or something like that. I do like spring better, though. The best month in Vermont is May. May and June. Around that 60-day period, everything's green, fresh. It is the best fragrance that you can possibly imagine. And I haven't gotten to experience that for almost half a decade. So I'm looking forward to spring. And that garden is going to be massively updated. You have no idea the kind of plans that I have in mind. Dat pie over there. Today on Sticks Down, we have a triple threat between Sigil, Ozzy, and Anton's to find Wasted a new contender. Anton attempts to drown the ring in meat, but Ozzy's new Skelly bot tackles him down. Sigil flings caca at the bot to attempt to short it, but the Ozzy made him saltwater proof. The bot slams Sigil and attempts to... Wait, is that? It's Bone Dog, and he's eating through the Skelly bot. Ozzy's out. Anton's up, but Sigil's on him already. He's throwing caca at him, but he's dodging, weaving, and batting them away with a slab of bison. He lands a meat cutter on Sigil. Down for the pin. 1, 2, 3. Winner, Anton. We have a new winner in the Styx Hexen ring. Anton, you have won. Celebrate by eating more of that meat. Veteran biker Hunter Biden, booger sugar. You know, cocaine. Get some of that smocaine up in you. Yeah, get some of that smocaine. Man, it's some good shit. Yeah. Some of that white powder. Yeah, get it up in me. And why the fuck is this in German? Somehow I archived the wrong instance of the Nirvana baby article. So if you're reading that, it is in German. Anyway, the person who was the Nirvana baby, you know, from the cover of Nevermind, and the baby's dick is dangling there, is suing Nirvana again. And he unsuccessfully sued before and said basically, well, Nirvana created child porn when they created this cover. And it's like, okay, your parents sold the rights. You know, you were photographed here. I do not believe in parents' right to capitalize on their children until they're older, until they're able to consent to be like effectively be a piece of capital. I do not believe in the parents' right to have created this image, just to be clear. But the lawsuit is completely frivolous. The image was created. It's lawful. It's not pornographic in any way. The fact that you as a naked baby are there, I mean, fuck, are you going to sue Pampers? Are you going to sue the Huggies or something like that? I don't see any of those suits going up. The fact is that he just wants a payday. Well, Nirvana, you know, one of the greatest bands of the 90s, and they made untold amounts of money, and, you know, the band members, you know, probably still clean up 6-7 figures a year just by existing. Just by retroactive sales on merch and CDs and downloads and shit like that. And so he's looking for a payday. He doesn't want his mediocre, California existence in the burbs, which is ironic because that's sort of what Nirvana was arguing against. The decadence of the 90s burb lifestyle features heavily in some of that music. Basically, I'm bored. I want to smoke weed. I'm depressed because I'm living in the suburbs. It's a little bit weird. Nirvana, who cares? Everyone knows what band I'm talking about. But it's a frivolous lawsuit. I actually agree with the claimant in that the images like this shouldn't be made. I mean, you're going to have images of babies and stuff, but you do have your junk out in the picture, admittedly. It wasn't really necessary. You could have had some Huggies on them or something like that, some water diapers. But the image was made. It was never considered pornographic before. If they were to, by the way, side with the claimant, they would effectively be saying that every copy of this album would have to be destroyed because then it would be child porn. But it's not porn. Nobody's getting off to the Nirvana baby swimming after a dollar bill on a fishhook. Again, highly symbolic. I can't imagine that anyone would find that alluring. Like, even if they were a creepazoid, even if they were a pervert, I don't think they'd be beating off to that. So you don't have to worry too much. Maybe it's because his pee-pee was small in the picture. And he's like, now he's perpetually trying to prove that he's grown up and actually his pee-pee is normal or something like that. It's just a weirdo. I agree with the basic premise, though. Children should not be capitalized upon. Like, there's a reason why my daughter is anonymous online and was never in a video and never will be. Or my niece, for that matter. There's a reason for that. Children need to be protected. They shouldn't be subjected to this sort of thing. And I think the parents sold the rights to this picture for, what was it? Again, my version is in German for some reason. I think he's asking for $150,000. Okay, you're alleging that child porn was made of you, but the only thing that you're asking for is money. Little sus now, ain't it? I can't remember how much they got for the actual photo. It was just a basic photo, though, and that's the whole point. Ain't nobody getting off to your baby picture from back in the 1990s. Don't worry, dude. You know, nobody's perving on you, unless they're real fucking messed up. Maxwell JW, recommend you check out Lower Lodge's video on Malaysia Airlines. He does a good job, in my opinion, on dispelling the self-delete theory. Yeah, there are competing theories about that. I mean, the Australian story that I talked about this morning is just crazy. I mean, if that's true, if the Australian government basically said, shut the fuck up, when he said back in 2014, only a few months after the crash, hey, I pulled up the wing of an airliner here. I think you might want to investigate. And they're like, no, it's just a shipping container from the Russians. They dropped one off of one of their cargo ships. Yeah, I'm not necessarily 100% believing that. Nick Meischer, you seem much more alive since you returned. Good. Still don't think Michael Obama is being groomed to replace Biden. She's been doing lots of appearances without her hubby lately. She has effectively sworn that off and would be rendered a hypocrite were she to run for office. I think that she is being genuine when she says she doesn't have any ambitions like that. Kite the Twin Blade. Watch for years. Glad to finally catch you live. Have a gift for you, Sticks. Where do I find where to send it? Hope you're well. Yeah, I'm at 444 Chisana Drive, Rutland, Vermont, 05701. My address is already public anyway, so I don't feel bad about announcing that. You can DM me on Twitter, though, if you want the address in print. Gunslinger Galt, RA67. Happy birthday, Horus, Apollo, Dionysus, Mithra, Dies Natalis, Invictus Solus, and Jesus 2. Yeah, there's a lot of people were born in this particular week. Always very important people, too. Adam V, I think one of your figurines is on fire. No, that's incense. Oh, yeah, let me show you this. This is an old incense burner from like the 60s or 70s or something like that. It's got a little cap on it, too. I think it was made in Japan back when they had cool stylistic stuff. Brian Bond, Merry Christmas, Sticks. Thanks for many years of great content and many more years to come. Mind of a Madman 69, have a most holy Christmas sticks. Yeah, Christmas sticks. Ha ha ha. Pun. King of Biltong, good morning from Anton's in Roanoke, Texas. Free shipping for your Biltong using code STICKS on www.landofbiltong.com and www.antonsusa.com. Thanks to Cody, Joseph, Isaac, Gene, JR, and Jim for visiting. Hashtag Clank Nation. God damn, we got a whole clanker posse going over there for their meat. I mean, I'm not surprised. I hope they got some of that fucking buffalo. Your mom was a hamster. Happy Festivus Eve. Yeah, Festivus. Maybe I'll do an airing of the grievances video. That could be entertaining now, couldn't it? Would anyone like to see me air my grievances? I got plenty of them. Next news story. Not seen since Vietnam. Israel dropped hundreds of 2,000-pound bombs on Gaza, analysis shows. To be clear, we're talking about fucking blockbusters here. 2,000 pounds of high explosive will rip apart a city block real goddamn easy. 2,000 of them will rip apart several cities worth of city blocks. And they appear to have targeted indiscriminately over large swaths of northern Gaza. There's a link in the description. I mean, if you take that, there's a map of where they think that they've dropped these munitions. Now, here's my thought, again, with regards to Gaza. I'm not a supporter of Palestine or Israel in the fight. The IDF is not a moral military. Hamas is certainly not a moral fighting force. Not even really a military. They're terrorists. When Hamas members die, I don't shed a tear. I don't give a shit about that. The problem is that the Israelis have openly admitted, and this is their estimation, that 2 civilians are dying for every Hamas fighter. That's number one. Number two, while hostage negotiations are suspended, they're currently flooding the tunnel system under Gaza as we speak, potentially drowning hostages. Not all of them, by the way, Israeli. Some of those are Americans, etc. They haven't all been returned to their home countries. They're from all over the world. So that's a problem. And number three, when you drop 2,000 fucking pounds of high explosives, this is not black powder. It's not even nitrocellulose. This is like, I don't know exactly what kind of plastic munitions they're using in these weapons, but high explosive, more powerful than TNT. When you drop that on a location, you're effectively saying, we don't really care who dies because anyone within a block or two is going to die. Hell, you could be 4 blocks away and a brick comes flying through the air at 500 miles an hour and just takes your head clean off. This is happening on a regular basis. Some of these bodies are vaporized. When we got the announcement earlier, this was late yesterday, that according to official sources, now 20,000 people have died in Gaza. I think it's a lot higher than that. It's probably 30, 40,000. But you're not even going to find all the bodies. I mean, if the body is effectively liquefied and spewed out all over the place because they happen to be within a block of one of these explosives, you don't know exactly how many people died. What are you going to do? Scoop up the innards and say, okay, I identify a liver here, kinda. That looks like it might be a liver, but there's only a quarter of it. So I guess 1 1/4 people died. That's basically what you have to do. Can you imagine the cleanup, by the way, that's going on in Gaza right now? Can you imagine being an aid worker and all of a sudden one of these babies hits next block and you're like, oh shit, well, I guess my work is cut out for me today. Get the broom and dustpan. The problem is that even if you assume, and I do, that Hamas is evil, and they are. They use human shields and take hostages, do crazy shit, and gang rape people, and they're not very nice individuals. That does not mean that the IDF is a moral fighting force. That's number one. And number two, optically speaking, Israel has completely goddamn lost the plot. When you're dropping blockbusters in an area this densely populated, you have lost the plot. Optically speaking, Israel has already lost this war. You can rout out Hamas if you're willing to slaughter another 100,000 people, I suppose. You know, cull about 5% of the population of Gaza, and you can probably get most of those Hamas fighters. You see, the problem is that 15 years from now, you then have double the Hamas fighters. Why? Because everyone has lost relatives and fucking hates you. So unless you intend to permanently annex Gaza, which Netanyahu has already effectively announced, you've got no other options. So they've annexed Gaza at this point. The problem is you're also subsuming Gaza by flooding the understructures underneath all of its major habitations to the point where these buildings are going to get all fucked up and sink into their own footprints, and it will become uninhabitable. And then you have about 2 million actual refugees and nowhere really to put them because there's nowhere for them to go. I guess they can go into Egypt. Israel could expel them into the Sinai. They've talked about, there was one tenuous plan to pay off all of Egypt's debt, just complete debt jubilee, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, in order to get them to resettle the Gazans in the Sinai Peninsula, which is workable. The problem is they don't want to leave. Egypt doesn't want them. Egypt already has stability issues, and they'd be afraid that the Hamas-adjacent population would vote for the Muslim Brotherhood and overthrow the secular government of Egypt. So why would they want to do that? And part of this is an energy war, by the way, because there's a lot of offshore gas off the coast of Gaza. People have talked about that before. And I think about the carnage over there. 20,000 people dead. Okay, you say, well, yeah, but there's 2 million people in Gaza, so that's not that much. Okay, 20,000 people is the population of my whole city. The entire metro area of Rutland at this point. Rutland City, Town, and Proctor. That's a lot of people. Where are you going to bury them, by the way? It's an active war zone. You're going to end up with rotting bodies out there causing a cholera epidemic. There's no running water. You're going to end up with cholera at some point, and half the people that die it won't even be an inflicted death. It'll be from cholera or from something like that, from food poisoning and shit like that. Things are all fucked up there. OMG puppies, Eos Saturnalia, fun Christmas fact. St. Nicholas punched someone in the face at the Council of Nicaea. I'll have to look that up. Kite the Twin Blade, will message on Twitter again, no worries. Did already, Latin for Eye of Truth. What's your preferred color, green, black, or blue? You choose, it doesn't matter. Eye color is fun. Jim Marshall, saw you a few years ago on Red Ice TV podcast as a guest speaker. I was wondering what you thought about their channel. Have a merry upcoming Christmas. I like Red Ice. I like their material. I'd go back on there again if they invite me. Mr. Clean, hey, he's got the muscle. The only time I get excited about foreign governments starting wars is whenever I think that Trump will be dropped into the White House in the middle of the fighting. Oh, what a global reaction that will be. That is what I am hoping for. I think I speak for at least 90% of the people watching right now when I say I really want fucking Trump back. If I can just get that for 4 more years, at least for a little while, there'll be some fucking sense and sensibility within DC. Not much of it, but at least a touch of it. Be like a sprinkling of the hot salt. Sir Thomas Drake, Merry Christmas, Sticks. My 43rd birthday is the 24th. Cheers to everyone this time of year with inconvenient birthdays. Happy birthday to you. How's that inconvenient, though? You get an extra day of celebration. My birthday is January 20th, arguably the coldest day of the year, and President's Day. Depending on who's taking office, it's either a really good birthday or a shitty one. Biden getting in there, it's like, happy birthday to me. Depressive birthday. The Bonus Holes just dropped a teaser featuring unmastered clips from our upcoming EP, X at the Bonus Holes. Yeah. Look up the Bonus Holes, my man. Get it. Next news story. This one requires a little bit of analysis, so don't jump down their throats immediately when I talk about this. This is from the Times of India. I wanted to make sure that people understand the article itself is against sexual violence within marital relations. It's against the underpinnings of Indian culture. Within marriage, women are often treated as though they're property. This is actually against that. But would you know that from the tweet itself? Let's find out. From the Times of India. If marital rape becomes illegal, will men have no reason to marry? They have been dogpiled beyond fucking belief because of this headline. And the article's fine. The article's against sexual violence, so that's good. But goddamn, can you hire somebody to make your tweets that won't make fucked up tweets that go viral for all the wrong reasons? Apparently not. Here's the other bit of analysis that I wanted to do, though. It's excellent as far as analyzing something that I've talked about repeatedly. Most people don't read the article. If they do, they only read the first sentence. Most of the people dogpiling this did not click through. They didn't read the article. This is done deliberately by the legacy media. What they'll do is in the tweet or in the header of the article or whatever, they'll put what they want you to absorb, even if it's countermanded by the article itself. So they'll just lie by structure. So they'll 3 paragraphs down, they'll say like a study shows that voting for Trump makes you dumber or something like it's something hyperbolic. I wouldn't be surprised to see that headline. And then a couple paragraphs down, it'll say, by the way, the study was not peer reviewed. Stuff like that. It allows them to lie with plausible deniability. The article's not fundamentally wrong. It's just that it's very, very misleading the way that it's been structured. This is an inadvertent example of the same basic premise. The tweet makes it sound like the Times of India is saying, well, men won't have any reason to marry if they can't rape their wife. If they can't hold them down and fuck them, then why the fuck would they want to get married? It's totally opposite what the article is saying. The article is actually pretty good. It's talking about the need to confront the underlying cultural phenomenon of men thinking that in a marriage they're automatically entitled to sex whenever the hell they want it, however the hell they want it, and that women shouldn't be property, that they should be treated as human beings. That's great, but nobody got that from the tweet. Hence the dogpiling, because I mean it's so wonky the way that they fucking put that out. Doesn't make any fucking sense. So I wanted to point that out mainly because it conforms to the basic premise of lies by omission and structure and so forth. This time it was accidental, at least, but fire whoever made this tweet and get somebody that's more competent. Yeah, maybe they can hire me to make their tweets. You know, I'd do a better job than that. Holy shit. Let's see. Boycott Warhammer Plus. Hey, Sticks just dropped a steamy, creamy log, my dude. Congratulations. Yeah, women in India have some fucking problems. Not quite as much maybe as they're in Saudi Arabia or in Afghanistan or something. But yeah. Bystander syndrome. When does a people stop being responsible for their government then? When can someone pass the buck? People are responsible for the government that they vote for, assuming that you have a properly incepted republic with a democratic function. We're seeing the denigration of that right now. So if Biden gets reelected or reselected, no, people aren't largely responsible because it'll be because of a bunch of legal persecution and the breakdown of our normal civic structure. People need to do more to make sure that Biden loses because he's quite literally destroying the republic at this time. We'll be talking about Schneider later, by the way. Next news story, something that almost nobody is talking about. It's not trending, no mention of it. Fuck, look at 4chan. You won't find anything about it there. U.S. Air Force to reclaim Pacific airfield that launched atomic bombings as it looks to counter China. Yes, Tinian Air Base. This is an island out there in the Pacific. Isn't it a little bit ominous that we're reviving the airfield that launched the A-bomb? I'm just going to put that out there. Don't you think that our foreign policy might be a mess if we actually need to revive? I mean, think about just for symbolic reasons. This is the place from which the atomic bombs that hit Japan were launched at the height and at the end of World War II. Japan refuses to surrender, and we decide to immolate 200,000 people. This is the air base, the only one from which a nuclear bomb was ever, atomic, but whatever, was ever launched in an offensive fashion. Otherwise, it's all nuclear testing. Is it not ominous that we're reviving this particular air base? I say that it is. Countering China, shit. If we had competent leadership and we were able to invoke a trade war against them like Trump was doing, we wouldn't have this fucking problem. They wouldn't be gunning after Taiwan. They wouldn't be encouraging their North Korean buddies to test missiles. They wouldn't be fucking around with the Vietnamese all the time, ramming their fishing vessels. That wasn't happening under Trump. Everything was fine. Ukraine wasn't invaded. Well, Crimea was occupied, but whatever. Gaza hadn't popped off. Venezuela hadn't voted to try to annex Guyana. And you didn't have as many problems with China because you had, Western leadership that actually was capable of leading. Now we're reviving a World War II era airbase from which fucking atomic weapons were offensively launched. This is a rather pointed statement, is it not? I believe in peace through strength. I believe that you should speak softly and carry a big stick. Our cudgels should be massive, twice as massive as it is. We should have more tanks and planes and all the toys that make the noise. I got an idea earlier about how you would have rapprochement with countries. Everyone likes explosions, right? Until they're happening in their backyard. Have every nation on Earth rig up a big-ass explosive, and then we bring them all out to the Sahara Desert, and we stream this in 8K at like 120 FPS, by the way, with full surround sound and everything else, and have them all set off at the same time, make the most god-awful non-nuclear crater that humanity has ever created. Why don't we get together and blow up some sand dunes? Why can't we do that? And some nations would pussy out and be like, oh, it might cause climate change or something. Well, then fuck you. You're not part of the world community anymore. We'll suspend all trade with your pussy nation. Why don't we just bomb the sand dunes instead of bombing each other? Call me a goddamn Yoko Ono optimist, but I do believe that human beings are fundamentally capable of living in peace. We're reviving the airfield that launched the A-bomb. If ever there was a statement of Biden's fecklessness and stupidity, I think that we've achieved peak fecklessness and stupidity with this one. We don't need the air base anyway. We've got a bunch of assets in the Pacific. The fuck are you even doing? The U.S. Air Force plans to bring the Pacific Island airfield that launched the atomic bombings of Japan back into commission as it tries to broaden its basing options in the event of any hostilities with China, the service's top officer in the Pacific says. Is this a transgendered individual? Probably. General Kenneth Wilsbach, commander of Pacific Air Forces, told Nikkei Asia in an interview published this week that North Airfield on the island of Tinian will become an extensive facility once work has been completed to reclaim it from the jungle that has grown over the base since the last U.S. Army Air Force units abandoned it in 1946. By the way, you'll find some interesting antiques as you clear that jungle. Helmets and fucking rucksacks and everything else. Maybe you'll find some old MREs that are still edible. Send one to Steve. I'd pay for the shipping myself to see him eat one of those. Oh, Tinian Island MRE. Yeah. Styx X and Hammer crossover special. Get me one too. Probably all rusted out and fucked up. I imagine there are bullet casings and knives and all the guns and all sorts of weird shit there. If you find any M1s, release them to the civilian market. They might find old shacks half collapsed into the ground with anyone in them, actually. C-rats, yeah, and then K-rats later, and then the Vietnam rations that had fucking delicious coffee, but everything else in there was all bloated and fucked up. I remember when I did the Vietnam MRE, and I opened the pound cake can. It looked fine. Then I smelled it, and it smelled more like a mushroom than a piece of cake, and I'm like, yeah, I think that might be rancid. How do you do this, Steve? I think I'll stick to the more recent ones. By the way, rations prices are through the goddamn roof because of people like us reviewing rations. Unfortunately, we inadvertently fucked ourselves, and now the only cheap ones you can get are from Lithuania. Coffee instant type 2? Yes. Shit fuck, says Esteban Canales. I say that on a regular basis. Shit fuck. Fuck shit. Pumpkin Fire Crafts, wishing a Merry Clanking Christmas to Styx and his army. Thank you all. Yes, by the way, link in the description to Pumpkin Fire as well as Anton's. You can get some good stuff. I mean, it's almost Christmas. You can get some stocking stuffers. You can also go to my books blog link. Again, that's pinned at the top if you're watching on YouTube. By the way, almost 4,000 people watching again. And I'm not even on the normal hour at the moment. So Tinian is being revived. Oh, thank Biden's foreign policy for that one. How lovely. Next news story, Salon is really gone crazy. How Republicans are weaponizing anti-Semitism to take down DEI. I agree with taking down DEI, so I don't fucking see the problem. I don't have to be a Republican to acknowledge why that's a good idea. Congressional Republicans say that college diversity, equity, and inclusion programs exacerbate anti-Jewish prejudice. They are correct, and that's because the majority of Jews are white. It's not because they're Jewish. This is not about anti-Semitism. It's about anti-whiteism, effectively. A person, just by virtue of practicing Judaism or having Jewish ethnicity, does not magically become non-white as well. Although there's some wiggle room there. We've seen posts on Twitter with regards to this. I will say no more on a YouTube live stream. DEI does need to die. Elon Musk is right about that. It's an offshoot of communism in the literal sense. CRT falls in line with the same basic concept. It's the corporate side of communism, just as CRT is the educational side of communism. The idea is to get people to fight one another. The idea is not really about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Equity, by the way, when you see that term used, it's typically being misused. It's not about inclusion, it's about disclusion. It's about getting people to fight one another. And here's the goal, laid out as simply as I can state it. And I talked about this in Critical Race Theory Debunked. That's also available on my books blog, and you can put it on Amazon, you'll find it. Communism lost because they subjugated everything to the socioeconomic sphere. The Western world became more wealthy. The middle class expanded, and so it was very difficult to get people drafted into communism because, generally speaking, most people in the population, regardless of their race, were reasonably comfortable. There was also a rallying around civically in the Western world, as opposed to the Eastern Bloc, the literal professed communists, looking at their poverty and atheism. Most Americans were Christian, including most Black Americans, etc. So you had the church for people to rally around. And you had general wealth. Not for everyone. There will always be poverty, but it was limited. It was compensated for. What they realized is that they can't fight a socioeconomic battle directly because communism and leftism in general always impoverish people more. Therefore, they always lose the argument. So now what they're trying to do is use id poll. So now the socioeconomic argument has been nudged down. They still make it, but it's subjugate to race. So they will say to Black people, for example, well, you have intergenerational poverty and stuff, and it's because of this. Here, sign on with the Communist Party. The wealth aspect is subjugate to the race aspect. They try and are generally failing to do this with Hispanics, it seems, which is very, very lucky for us. I don't really do it for East Asians. They've rendered them a privileged model minority at this point. So if you're of Japanese extraction or Korean extraction or to an extent Indian extraction at this point, they don't want to party with you either. And the problem for them is that they have not managed to carve off a large enough block in order to actually seize power. And that is what the commies want to do. And they are communists. To be clear, when somebody says, no, I'm just a social democrat. No, you're a communist. Just be honest. There are some commies out there honest enough to self-profess what they are. You're apparently just a fucking liar. You are a communist. That is what you are. You believe in a communal system in which there is strong centralization because a stateless communist system cannot exist any more than a stateless anarcho-capitalist society can exist. It's impossible to achieve. We're in the era of nation states, and we just have to deal with the fallout that comes from that. You're a commie, and you want to subvert people because that's all commies are good at. You're not good at producing anything. All you do is parasitize other people's labor while decrying labor, while praising laborers. It's a very confusing system when you think about it. I prescribe helicopters. I believe that we need to build 20 or 30,000 new attack helicopters in the United States. And they'll be free to ride on if you are a card-carrying communist. And weaponizing anti-Semitism. Look, I don't care if the Republicans weaponize anti-Semitism as long as it destroys DEI. Literally don't care. David Metz, holy crap, I caught a Styx live. I'm never up this early. Merry Christmas, Styx. Merry Christmas to you as well. Happy Yule, festive Festivus, etc. Dark World Excel. Hey, Styx, finishing up some contractor work at Linden, New Hampshire. They give out almost $20 worth of chocolate every week. Got something to bring home. Sounds nice. I don't eat sweets myself, but yeah. I would say that the Lindt truffles are, they're pretty good. If you like sweets. I liked the white chocolate ones when I was younger. Sebastian Lee. There is a chance MH370 was shot down. Agreed. You have a rogue aircraft with no transponders near major cities and isn't talking to anyone. Every nation in that area was within its rights to scramble fighters. And that's one thing that some people suspect, is that it was shot down And they don't want anyone to know that it was shot down because they didn't have a choice, but they killed a bunch of civilians in the process. I'm amenable to the possibility. It's also possible that he just smashed into the ocean, but the wreckage was found almost only a couple of months after the splashdown. OMG puppies. In capitalism, man exploits his fellow man. In communism, it's the other way around. Yeah. Yeah, under communism, it's more centralized, though. Every authoritarian system is, by default, a left-wing system because you have to control money in order to control people, and so an authoritarian system cannot, by definition, be right-wing. Lev Polyakov, Dragon looks great. Gonna get some bison biltong for them protein macros. Also, please check messages. Proposed subject switch from Christian Nat to Neo Reaction for breaktherules.tv. Yes, I did get your message, but I wasn't able to respond. I have 10,000 things to do. I'll look at that message again later. Trip Boom, good sticks. The cracker for more salt pushed down the top. Love the video too. Glad you and your dad liked it. Merry Christmas, Sticks and Clanker. Yes, Trip Boom. This is the man who sent me this. And it is goddamn delicious. It's also exceptionally hot. Shall I punish myself on a live stream? I think that I shall. Yeah, you have to push this down and then twist. Give it a little bit of a twist. I don't want too much, otherwise I won't be able to continue streaming. Trust me, just a little tiny dusting is all you need. And this is why it costs more, because it's so fucking spicy. It's basically more of an additive than anything else. If you were to like salt your food fully in the regular sense and use this, you'd probably die. Here goes. That's just, again, 2 twists. That's all you need. Whew. You can feel it in your throat at first, and then it moves forward to your tongue and to your lips. Just the most minute amount, and your lips will be numb. Your tongue is on fucking fire. It's an 8 out of 10 on the spicy scale. That was just a tiny amount. It's very spicy. My dad's nose is watering. He eats fucking habaneros raw. So if he endorses it as spicy, also he said that he was in love. Whew. Yeah, let me rub it in my eyes. Don't touch your face, dude. Well, I'm crazy, so, you know. Whew. Yeah, just give me a second. It is admittedly the spiciest thing it's with, what were the 3 peppers in it? It's got, God, I lost the paper. It's got ghost pepper, scorpion, and reaper in it. So, yeah, very, 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 very spicy. Thank you very much, Trip Boom. I gave one of them to my dad. I'm keeping the other for myself. I'm probably going to put 3 twists in the chili that I'm going to make, and that'll probably be enough. I think 5 or 6 twists of this would probably be equivalent to an entire bottle of Tabasco sauce. That's how spicy it is. And I tend to have a reasonably high spice tolerance, so take it to the bank. Kite the Twin Blade. I'm an old man of 39 and need my memory corrected. Did you go on David Griffin's summit years ago? Color his accent for a game I'm sending you. Lol. I can't recall. Maybe. Oh no, I'd have to look back. Some of my old appearances are gone because people's channels keep getting down by YouTube and stuff. Trabzon, wish Merry Christmas to fellow Christians in Gaza, 2,000 plus. Yeah, there are a bunch of Christians that are trapped in a church over there, I think, still. Bystander syndrome. Management needs you to find the difference between the 2 small figurines on the table behind Sticks. Me, they're the same figurine. There's a lot of them. Anyway, last news story. Yeah, a little bit sniffy. Sniffy times. Dukes of Hazzard's John Schneider makes death threat against Joe Biden. He didn't really make a death threat. I mean, if you're going to investigate, the Secret Service is investigating him. It's like, yes, he's going to show up and attempt to strangle Joe Biden. Trump poses many threats to our country. The right to choose, civil voting rights, and America's standing in the world, wrote Biden. But the greatest threat he poses is to our democracy. If we lose that, we lose everything. So Schneider decided to call him out as the fucking hypocrite he is. And he called Fauci treasonous, which I can actually say on YouTube, but And I can't question the science, but I can question his legal standing, apparently. And DailyMail.com has reached out to the U.S. Secret Service for comment on this story. Apparently, he said something. I love this. Former NBC Universal executive Mike Singleton wrote, has been D-list TV star and right-wing MAGA nut John Schneider publicly posts that President Biden and Hunter Biden should be executed. Yeah, it's totally not hyperbole. Nobody ever said, by the way, comparable things about Trump. Kathy Griffin doesn't exist, by the way. Nobody ever got investigated by the Secret Service over that. So I'm wondering why you think that somebody he's a millionaire, he's rich, he's got that Beverly Mansion and shit. He was the star of Dukes of Hazzard. So, just the reruns alone probably give him 6 figures a year. Imagine having that kind of continuing income. If I had that, I'd just be puttering around in the garden 24/7. Rig up a tent, maybe with a sodium vapor lamp. Do you really think that he's a threat against Joe Biden? I don't think so. I think that the legitimate threat against the president's life happened when the leftoids were rioting outside of the White House, literally attacking security fences and beating down the Secret Service agents and the Capitol Police, which didn't get a whole lot of airplay. I seem to remember the liberals at that time simply chuckled about the fact that Donald Trump had to be whisked down into the safety bunker. Oh, God, coward Trump. Because he's literally not capable of refusing the Secret Service in a security situation like that because he's a publicly traded asset. I seem to remember that happened, and nobody really cared. MSNBC didn't say that it was a death threat or anything like that. But then John Schneider gets hyperbolic on Twitter all of a sudden. It's a big fucking problem. Supposedly, he's a D-lister. So why are you even covering it in your story? Very, very interesting. Wolf on the Plains. When do we get a Styx Razor Fist stream? Maybe you could join them on the side scrollers as well. Merry Clankmas to you and all the clankers. Thank you very much, and Merry Christmas to you also. Yeah, I'd actually like to go physically visit Razor Fist at some point in Arizona. I'm not going to eat his steak, though. He insists on it. We'll go to a steakhouse, and I'll show him a real steak. We'll go to the pizza parlor. I'm going to have it loaded with pineapple. I have to live stream that, that's for sure. We'll have a summit, the MAGA War Summit for 2024. That'd be funny. Yeah. Goodness. Yeah, Tarl needs a Corvette and drive all over the country. I'm not really interested in sport cars. I'd rather get a Jeep, honestly. It's got the Avalon, had a Mercedes, but, you don't want to get a Mercedes when you're stateside because the parts would cost an arm and a leg. If you're in Europe, right next to the German border, Mercedes-Benz is fine. Even then, a little bit pricey. But I'd rather get a Jeep. For this, you got to realize, we live on the side of a hill that's on the side of a mountain, and the whole state is nothing but hills and mountains. A Jeep would be good for inclement weather, 4-wheel drive and shit like that. And I like the old Jeeps, by the way. I don't like the new Jeeps. Those ones with the extended back that look kind of like a hybrid between a Jeep and a pickup, I think look fucking retarded. I like the old ones. 2 seats with 2 people can cram in the back with the flat back, really short, therefore easy to park. Just reliable as hell. I'd like to get an older Jeep. Not interested in the new ones. Brain Biscuit, what's this about visiting Razor Fist? You see him every time you look in the mirror. Yeah, our tastes in food are slightly different. He thinks that beans don't go in chili, which I think is sinful unless it's a condiment, in which case I agree with him. Beans don't go in chili if you're going to put it on a hot dog or something like that. He's right. Pineapple does go on pizza. He is a disbeliever. He's a heretic for pineapple pizza. And he thinks steak should be well done. And he insists that if it's properly cooked by a legitimate chef, that it'll be just as tasty as medium rare. No, it won't. It can be tasty, but it's not going to be as tasty. Just imagine what that chef could do if you had your steak the adult way. Just saying. Well-done steak with ketchup on the side was a staple of my childhood, but, I'm not 12 anymore. I'm 35, so... No offense, Razor Fist, but some of your food choices are a little sus. Great taste in music, right on Michael Jackson, right on Lincoln, but no, brah, no well-done steaks, please. I mean, if I watch you eat one, that's fine. I promise not to regurgitate, but I'll be having mine like blue rare just to compensate. You can cook with biltong. Biltong pizza, Zachary. That is actually a good idea. I think I'll hold some of the biltong over and put it on a pizza, actually. My sister's fiance actually knows how to make his own pizza crust. He worked in a pizzeria, and I know how to make a bitchin' pizza sauce. Yeah, we can make that work. Interesting idea. I already ate all the Angus and the Wagyu. I gave away one bag to one of my mom's friends. He loved that. He's like, Merry Christmas, Jesus Christ. OMG puppies. Joe Rogan insists the best pizza is anchovies and pineapple. He got Elon Musk to eat some. I remain skeptical. Anchovies are okay on pizza. I tried it when I was a kid because I was a huge fan of Garfield. And Garfield always would be all freaked out if there were anchovies on the pizza. So I decided to try it once, and it was good. It's very salty. It's a little bit of an acquired taste, but there's nothing wrong with it. One thing I like on pizza is brine shrimp. I had that once. I love that. Generally, though, extra cheese and mushrooms. Sometimes black olives. And artichoke hearts optionally. Those are good as well. Yeah, anchovies are exceptional. It's like biting into a fishy version of salt. It's like if this is spicy salt, anchovies are just fishy salt. You could literally just take rock salt and grind it up and then add fish oil to it, and effectively it would taste the same as an anchovy. It's good, but it's not a top-tier topping, no. It's all right. One thing I don't understand is people that put like steak and shit like that on pizza. I mean, I did that one time because I made the pineapple pizza just as a joke for Razor Fist, by the by. And then I had the medium rare steak on top of it, which, by the way, came out really well. It was tasty, but not my favorite. Anchovies are great. Yeah. Ham, bacon, onion, and pineapple. Onion is good on pizza. I'm not a huge fan of ham or bacon on pizza, though, honestly. At this point, I'm just banting with people, which is great. It's nice to be able to go longer and not have to take things so seriously. So, yeah, we've got John Schneider getting investigated by the Secret Service for an obviously hyperbolic fucking statement. Bystander syndrome. What about rare chicken? Yeah, I'll pass on that. I cook excellent chicken, by the way. Fried chicken specifically. Fried chicken and fried fish, I can do like a master. My fried fish, the first time that I made it, I fucking nailed it. It was perfectly flaky, perfectly moist, nice crispy outside. Perfect. Absolutely amazing. Way better than what you get in a restaurant, actually. More seasoned, delicious. I'm not the biggest seafood eater in the world other than sushi, which I'm having tonight, ironically. But I do know how to cook fish competently. One thing I don't understand is salmon, though. Raw salmon is fine. And if it's brined and put on a bagel, that's fine, too. I just don't understand, like, you know, the regular cuts of salmon like you get in the store and people roast them up with lemon and stuff. I just find it abhorrent. I hate the flavor. And it's the most expensive fish. It's like, yeah, give me some tilapia or some codfish or something. I'll save money and it'll be tastier. The bonus holes. Best pizza if you must go to Pizza Hut. Pan crust with pepperoni, sausage, jalapenos, bacon, onion, pineapple, and anchovies. Delicious. I'll skip it. The best pizza in the world is at Leonardo's in Burlington, Vermont. Trust me. If you're in Burlington, Vermont, go to Leonardo's. Make sure to tell them that I sent you, by the way. Extra cheese and mushrooms. It smells better than crack. Sleazy P. Martini would get more addicted to that than to his own drug supply. Desiccated corpse. Merry Christmas to you and your family and to everyone watching the stream. I love anchovies. I'm insane. Also, check out Samyang Ramen Chicken. Ooh, 2X if you're a spice buff. Watch out, though. It's nuts. I don't eat ramen, and I'm not a huge chicken fan, actually, either. I mean, I know how to cook it. I have fried chicken, the Parthian chicken, which was surprisingly very, very good. I can cook chicken. I prefer beef, mostly. Beef or raw fish, sushi. Those are the two meats I like the best. And bison, of course. Senor Faces. Did you hear about Fish Tank? It is Sam Hyde's live reality show on the internet. They are currently on their second season as of now. I hadn't heard of it. To check it out. Let's see. Sir Thomas Drake, Hawaiian pizza with jalapenos is divine. I like pineapple on pizza, but I don't like it with the ham, ironically. It just, something about ham and cheese, I never really understood. Most people fucking love it. I just don't really like it. I'd either have the ham alone or the pineapple alone. Bacon's fine, but mostly I like my pizzas vegetarian. I like it with extra cheese and a lot of mushrooms, or with black olives, artichoke hearts. That's the trifecta. If I had to have a pizza with a bunch of toppings on it, mushrooms, black olives, artichoke hearts, and extra cheese. Preferably multiple kinds of cheese. Sprinkle some mozzarella on top. The Grizzly, what do you think of Trump being removed in other ballots like a domino cascade? Do you think this will drive more people to Trump, or do you think that SCOTUS will just sit back and let the states ban him? Well, this is the primaries that he's being banned from, not the general election. They're powerless to do that. SCOTUS will probably get involved and rule for Trump. That's point number one. Even if they don't, he'll win on a mail-in. And it'll show the system to be just as corrupt as it is, by the way, when the Republican people vote for him anyway and ignore the court decisions and they nullify the results. It's going to look a little bit hammer-handed. I think that it will drive voters to Trump. Yeah, I think it'll help him. In fact, if SCOTUS refuses to weigh in, it might be better for Trump in the end, ironically. Dat Pie over there. The pizza talk is a psyop. Long Island is the undisputed pizza king of the country. Tony's in Brentwood is goated. I would put Leonardo's pizza up against pretty much any other. It is the best pizza that I've ever had, and I've eaten pizza on several different continents and a number of different nations and states. So I vote for Leonardo's of Burlington. They've also got one in Portland, Maine, if I remember correctly. They need to branch out, though. Somebody needs to invest in that shit. They make a ton of money. If you put that in New York, I guarantee all the locals would want to eat there. By the way, please send no more super chats. I'm now over an hour, and while I'm enjoying the bants, at some point I should probably eat something for the first time today, other than that Wagyu that I polished off this morning. Should probably have some food. Maybe even go outside. Billy Buffalo, welcome home. You went from fat to clothes since I'm in Albany, New York. Lol. Thanks for the information and content. Merry Christmas to you and the Clankers. From fat to clothes. I've never been fat. I don't know what the reference is, but thank you anyway. Edward Ream, greetings, Sticks. In your literary travels, have you ever encountered a real-life analog to Frank Herbert's OCB? No, I don't think so. Jake Martin, cocaine and Xanax pizza with vodka sauce. Ooh. Yeah, that'll get you going. Tarl, try hot dogs with ketchup, mustard, and relish on your pizza with hot dog rolls, too. I would try it, but I don't know that I would like it. Hot dog is okay on a pizza, I suppose, but it's not my favorite. I prefer mine vegetarian. I really love mushrooms. Sauteed mushrooms, mushroom soup, cream of mushrooms on pizza. And it just sort of goes with the cheese. When you heat up a mushroom and it's like in a fatty substrate, for some reason, it just enhances the flavor even more. It gives it a little bit of a woody smokiness. And Leonardo's, I think, actually has real wood-fired ovens, if I remember correctly. So, pretty good shit. We'll go up to Burlington for a day trip at some point. Anyway, I think I'm going to go offline. I will not be streaming over... Oh, I've still got a couple of super chats. Anyway, I won't be streaming over the weekend, and I'm certainly not going to stream on Christmas, because I'm going to be busy eating the entire day. Those turnips and cabbages aren't going to take care of themselves. Tasmanaut. If enough blue states remove Trump from the primary ballot, wouldn't he then fail to get the required number of delegates to win? No, because he'd win all the other states. So, I mean, the writing's on the wall. He is going to be the GOP nominee at this point. He's now above 50 in Iowa. He clinches there. He edges out Haley, I think, in New Hampshire. Her recent spike is a fluke, in my opinion. And then he goes on to win her home state, knocks her out. DeSantis is basically out for coming in third, probably in Iowa. From there on out, there's nobody else to run against him, basically. I mean, yeah, they can grab some delegates in states that Trump's not allowed to perform in. They'll just switch to a caucus. The Colorado GOP is already talking about switching to a caucus if the decision isn't reversed. They're therefore literally nullifying their own primary in order to switch to a system that's not under court purview. Trabzon, greetings to you as well. And then Aaron Nuclear, Linguica, Portuguese sausage, and pineapple pizza is the best in my opinion. Sausage is good on pizza. Yeah. Yeah, spicy sausage specific, or chorizo. Chorizo is fine on pizza. Sticks used to be anti-advertising. Now this is an hour-long Bill Tong infomercial. I gotta say, I mean, I'm a little bit on the hungry side. That's why I'm trying to go offline. So anyway, I'm going to go offline now. I thank you to the 4,000 people who showed up at peak. And keep in mind, when I resume streaming after Christmas, I'm going to try to have a different schedule. I may do a morning stream. I may do an afternoon stream, and I may kind of do both. And I'm thinking about some weekend streaming as well, because, you know, money's good. People seem to enjoy it. Why the fuck not? I'm a little bit hyper competitive and a little bit hyper caffeinated at the moment. My lips still tingle a little bit, by the way, from the hot salt. That's about all. Peace out. Oh, and Merry Christmas.